Everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar on managing the claims reporting process. My name is Miller with the CSD Pool, and I am joined with a member of our team, Paula, our Claims Advocacy Manager. Paula joined the team in 2020 as a claims consultant and has been the legislative chair for the Colorado Employers Advocacy Association since 2024. She has over 30 years of experience managing workers' compensation claims in Colorado and will be sharing some of that experience with you all today. Our presentation will focus on how to file a claim, what to expect as the claim is being processed, and what you can do to make sure that everything goes smoothly. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, you can put them in the chat and I will bring them up so that Paula can see them and answer them as we go. If they don't get answered throughout the webinar, we will also have time at the end for further questions. So without further ado, Paula, you have the stage.
Thanks, Mackenzie. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining our webinar this morning. Going to page 2 for the agenda. First of all, I'm your claims consultant, and so anything claims related, I'm your advocacy person for you, the district, and Cedric. So I work closely with Cedric, so if you ever have any questions, concerns, kudos, I'm the person you can reach out to, and I can help you with the claim and with our claims team. So going over the agenda, when to report a claim, we'll talk about how to report it, what you should expect once it's reported. Working with your Cedric adjuster is very important to the claim, whether it's property, auto, liability, or work comp. Your claims adjuster is there to help you understand the process, answer your questions, and help resolve the claim in the appropriate manner. We'll talk about the work comp designated provider panel, along with the work comp return to work light duty. Next slide. So for property, auto, and liability, when should you report a claim? As soon as it occurs. That'll allow our team to get the information, send out an independent adjuster if necessary to inspect the property damages. This also helps our liability adjuster assign panel attorneys if necessary if the claim goes into litigation. There is no fee associated with a reporting loss. Claims can be set up as an incident only if there's no damage or repairs needed or litigation of the claim. And once the claim has been reported, Cedric will email the district's contact and acknowledgement letter, so you'll know who your assigned adjuster is for the claim. Slide 4. With the kind of weather Colorado is experiencing right now, it's summertime, early spring. We have the wind, the hail. Unfortunately, we've had tornado-related issues in Colorado recently. So those type of claims can be reported using our property loss form. So you would complete that form, whether it's for a building or an automobile, and submit one claim. If your district has had multiple claims related to a weather event, so let's say you have a fleet of autos that's been damaged by hail, or multiple buildings, but it's all the same date of loss, you only have to submit one claim. And Cedric and I have worked together to develop a way to report multiple claims, and that includes an Excel worksheet. There is one for buildings, property, and then there is one for auto claims. So if you have a loss that includes multiple autos, you would complete one auto claim, send it to intake, and email it or call it in, and then the Excel worksheet would be completed listing the additional autos that were damaged, and that would be emailed directly to our team lead, Cindy Tucker at Cedric, and then she'll set up additional claims related to that initial loss. And we have posted this Excel worksheet on our claims webpage. Slide 5. So what should you expect when reporting a work comp claim? Report it as soon as it's occurred. Once the employee has reported it to you, you would send them over to your designated provider. for care. If they decide they do not need care, you can still report it and it's set up as an incident only. Any incident only claims, whether it's work comp, property, liability, or auto, there is no fee charged to set up a claim. And same with work comp, Cedric will email the district's contact a claims acknowledgement advising who the assigned adjuster is. The next slide shows you how you can report a claim. Our claims can be completed claim forms can be emailed to csdpool.org. I'm sorry, that's our website. Our email address is cxcsd@cedric.com. You'll note that this is a different email address. Last June, we implemented a Cedric claims email address for new losses. So hopefully everyone at this point has deleted the old claims@csdpool.org email, as that is no longer valid, and you'll get an invalid return to your message. So please do note, if you're emailing your claims in, it's cxcsd@cedric.com. We also have a phone-in option or a fax option to report new losses. Slide 7, what to expect for property, auto, and liability. Again, Cedric will assign the claim to our dedicated adjuster, and they will work directly with you, the member, to have the property or auto inspected. For the property, it may be our dedicated adjuster, Brian, or he may assign it to an outside independent adjuster. For liability claims, Kevin will work with the member to assign one of our approved panel attorneys if there's litigation involved in the claim. Otherwise, he'll work with the district to resolve the claim in a timely manner. On slide 8, we talk about them sending out an acknowledgement letter. So if you have reported a claim and you do not have an acknowledgement letter within 24 hours, 48 hours at the latest, you should go ahead and reach out to me and let me know, because I want to make sure that the claim has been set up. But Cedric does send out this letter on all claims. Once the claim is assigned to the adjuster, they'll be making contact with you to go over the loss, what you should expect. If they need any additional information regarding the claim, they will ask for you to provide it at that time. Once the claim has been resolved, Cedric will send out a closure letter. Liability claims will have a deductible due letter sent out at the time of closure also, and that notifies the district that their deductible is now due because the claim has been resolved. Moving on to what to expect for workers' compensation. If the employee has received medical care, then it will go to our medical-only adjuster. If the employee misses time from work or the event is questioned, then Cedric will assign it to one of our indemnity adjusters. We do have 2 medical-only adjusters and 3 lost time adjusters that are dedicated to our program. Slide 10 talks about the acknowledgement letter. Again, questionable claims will proceed with a notice of contest for further investigation. And the Cedric adjuster, if there's lost time or an impairment rating, they're responsible for filing any division of work comp forms. So with adjusters needing lost time information, they'll request a wage history directly from you at the district. Any other information such as return to work should be emailed to your adjuster timely to make sure they are providing the appropriate benefits related to the work comp claim. And at the end of the claim, when there's no more care and the employee has been placed at maximum medical improvement, Cedric will send out a closure letter advising that the claim has now been closed and showing the pay-to-date information. What to expect on a claim, as I discussed, Cedric will file the general admissions of liability and final admission of liability once the individual's at MMI. And we're on slide 11, Mackenzie. They may ask you for a 13-week wage history if the employee is missing time from work. This helps them determine the employee's average weekly wage and calculate their temporary total disability benefits. Whenever possible, return to work light duty should be provided to the injured worker. This helps keep the employee in their new normal routine, along with reducing the cost of the claim. Moving on to slide 12. When an employee reports the injury, they should be given a copy of the designated medical provider form so they can select their authorized treating physician. Once they make that selection, it should be signed by them and dated. A copy of that should be given to the employee. You, the employer, should keep one. And then a copy should be sent to the assigned adjuster. That just helps the adjuster know which doctor they're treating with and that the designation has been selected. There are some new changes possible coming to our designated medical provider panel. House Bill 25-1300 did pass through the House and Senate, and it's waiting for signature by Governor. These changes would not go into effect until January 1 of 2028, and it does allow the employee at that point to make the selection of physician. So we're keeping an eye on this bill if the governor signs it or if he will veto it. So there'll be more to come once we know his final determination. Do we have any questions, Mackenzie?
I haven't seen any come up so far, but since we've got through the material pretty quickly, if anyone has any questions for Paula, now is the time. While you all are typing those up, Paula, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So obviously, claims reporting, the way you've laid it out, is nice and simple, but I imagine that in practice it gets infinitely more complicated. Are there any really common misconceptions or mistakes that you see people make when they're trying to submit a claim on behalf of their district?
I think the biggest one right now is sometimes using our wrong email address. The claims at csdpool.org is no longer a valid email. It's so easy to keep those in our browsers with our email, but the correct email address is csdpool@cedric.com. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. In timely reporting, it would be wonderful as soon as the injury happens is to get that claim form filled out and emailed over, or if you call in the claim, you can have the employee talk to nurse triage if needed. If they've already received treatment, an intake operator can set up the claim or fax it in. I think timely reporting of all claims is also valuable. And if you call it in, you just have to listen to the prompts because obviously a liability or property claim doesn't need to talk to nurse triage. So you just have to listen to the prompts that are at the Cedric intake line. And I think the other key, the other key too is just to remember that our claims team is available. You should be able to reach them by phone, by email. If you're having where you're concerned about they're not communicating well or not providing you the information you're needing, reach out to me. I can be an advocate for you and help you get in touch with them. Same thing works for if the adjusters reach out and ask you questions or need additional information. It's important to get it to them because they're all under timelines that they have to follow, especially our work comp team. Our statute is very time limited on providing responses and information. So if our work comp adjusters have reached out asking for a wage history or more details about the loss, responding to them, having that conversation is very helpful because it helps them get the claim going on the right track. Our claims team information is posted page 6 of the slide, Mackenzie, where our website, csdpool.org, claims. Our contact team, you can find their information there also.
All right, awesome. So we do have a question in the chat from Kim. What if medical is sought on a P&L claim, for example, if another party suffers an injury from an accident that occurs with a vehicle on our policy?
That would go under that third party's health insurance, and that would be considered a bodily injury liability claim. That could be reported.
Okay. And then, Paula, one more question. Are there any other updates? You mentioned the update to the email. I know we recently put the Sedgwick Excel forms on the website, and you mentioned that the House bill is going through. Are there any other updates to the claims reporting process that would be good to get out since, you know, the process is ever evolving?
Yeah. No, I think that covers everything and all the recent changes. I think for those with the property and auto weather-related claims, I think this process is going to make it a little smoother once hopefully you won't have to experience it, but before you would have to submit multiple loss forms, but now with this process, you will only have to submit one, what I'm going to call building, which is property loss form, and then one auto loss form. The additional damages for the same occurrence date, that's when you would use either the property or auto Excel worksheet and email that directly to Cindy. Having the original claim set up and then the additional claims through the worksheet will allow Cindy to set those up with the same claim number, but they'll be connected to the original loss, which will make it a lot more easier for you, the district, to know which claim it was, and then for the adjuster to be able to adjust those claims more timely and efficiently.
All right. We have another question in the chat from Tom. Any changes on theft claim reporting?
No changes. So if you have items that have been stolen from your district, you would just complete the property loss form and email those in.
All right. Awesome. So I'm not seeing any more questions in the chat at the moment, but just remember this is a webinar, and Paula, as your claims advocacy manager, is always available to talk to you and get some of this information across. So don't feel like now is your one and only chance to reach out to us and get things cleared up if you have any questions, especially if they're very specific to your district and your situation. You are always welcome to reach out, and we'll assist you with the process as best we can. Which I'll see if any more questions come up. But other than that, I believe we're nearing the end of our webinar. To answer Leanne's question, yes, this webinar will be posted later. There will be a recording sent out to everyone who attended. So if you feel like you missed something, don't worry, we'll be sending that out. You'll get the chance to listen to it all over again. If you would like the presentation as well, you'll notice in the upper right corner of the screen, there's a little file up there to download if you would like. That is the presentation file. So if you'd like that, you can download it and go through and look at everything on your own time. If you want more information on the claims process, you can also find that on www.csdpool.org/claims. And I believe, Paula, unless you have anything to add, that brings us to the end of today's presentation.
Nothing more to add. I appreciate everybody joining, especially after a long holiday weekend. Hope you have a great week.
All right. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone, now that it's over. Thank you so much for attending. And as I mentioned, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Have a good one.